Good morning, everybody. It's day 21 of my Dating Myself challenge, part of 90 days of dating myself following 90 days of recovery from destructive binge eating habits following a divorce. So this is a little bit about just a little brief overview about what got me here. And today's Dating Myself activity is to listen to Pema Chodron and think about how what she says applies to my journey. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Pema Chodron, Google her. No, I'm just kidding. I'll do a little explanation, but you feel free to Google her too. She is somebody who has been studying Buddhism for I think about 3 decades now, and she just does a lot of talks about applying the principles to her life, and I am particularly drawn to her because I think when she speaks, it really resonates with me, and she does, I think, a really good job at applying, these like ancient, principles to daily modern life. So I'm able to find it really relatable and draw a lot from her. And the reason why I integrated this into my Dating Myself challenge is because I have found, and I've been listening to her on and off for years, way before, I even started this, this video challenge or, went through my separation. And part of my takeaway when I always read her or listen to her is she gives very good suggestions for facing fear and coping with uncertainty, which I think collectively a lot of us can relate to right now with what's going on in the world. And I have kind of the double whammy of like what's going on in the world plus this uncertainty of navigating adult life as a single person, which I have never done before. So I put it, I put it on my one of my Dating Myself activities, because in order to become like intimate and comfortable with myself, I do need to build that kind of resilience about coping with fear and uncertainty in ways that are not self-destructive. And everything she says is right on that. So this morning, I got up early and I allowed myself to just like sit and listen to one of her lectures. And in this specific lecture, a theme that came up a lot was patience. She was talking about something called, I think it's paramitas. I might be butchering that. Paramitas in Buddhism. And patience was one of these paramitas that came up pretty often and that she spoke a lot about. And she spoke a lot about patience as it relates to aggression. The way these paramitas are set up is they have, two states of, like, I don't want to say attitudes, but like 2 states of mind that are opposite from each other, but don't necessarily need to be looked at as a dualistic way, right? Like you don't have to say patience is good, aggression is bad. But basically responding to something with patience is pretty close to the opposite of responding to something with aggression. And when she spoke about aggression, it wasn't just she spoke about aggression in a very broad sense. And one of the things that was tied to aggression was a sense of urgency, right? So as I'm listening to it and relating it to my experience, I'm thinking of it as, okay, patience, I think for me, being kind of the opposite of urgency and how that dynamic is related to each of the journeys I'm going through, like both with recovering from the addictive food habits and both from recovering from, I guess, like addictive relationship habits, right? Of jumping from one to a next. I think in both circumstances, I felt a false sense of urgency. I need to eat this now before it all goes away. Like it's freaking going anywhere, or I need to eat this now because I need solace right now. I can't sit with this discomfort any longer, and with relationships, it's, I meet somebody, like, I need them right now. I need to satisfy this urge right now. If I don't like jump on this right now, they might lose interest with me and go in someone else. That's my like toxic fear of abandonment from from issues way back. So I found that really relatable. And I thought of an experience I had yesterday that I want to share, which is I went to a local corner store to pick up some seltzer, and I was in the middle of walking around, and I was getting really hot. My mask was on. I was like, ugh, getting sweaty. And that type of situation, I would say a year ago today, would have made me have a sense of urgency to buy some ice cream there. And ice cream is like one of those things that, like, in my years of trying to beat this binge eating thing, I've had very intense reactions to ice cream. Like, even if I didn't end up buying it, like, there was a sense of like, oh boy, there's ice cream, I better look away. Like, there was a very strong emotional reaction to it. But yesterday in the store, I was just like, oh, ice cream, you know, and I didn't buy it. I wasn't like preoccupied by it. I didn't have a strong reaction to it. It's like I acknowledged it as something, you know, that was not good or bad. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, ice cream. And eventually I'll have ice cream again. You know, I could have ice cream again today. Like, I'm not giving myself any rules or rigidity around this. But I think it speaks to, you know, the work I've been doing, you know, in recovery and changing my brain, you know, because my brain is no longer having that like sense of urgency or intensity around these food triggers. I'm not saying it's going to be like that every day. I don't have magical thinking, but just sharing my reality that this is something new, and it's really cool. And I got to that point by really practicing patience, by learning how to go through my urges without acting in the opposite way. When it comes to mostly food, but a little bit, you know, with romantic situations as well. You know, and I'm really happy that I was able to hear so much about patience this morning, because it's going to be such an important part of my journey. I am sure I'm going to apply it today. I'm at a period where, like, the next week or so, I have a lot of work to do, like both in my job and with side projects I'm working on. So I'm really going to need that patience to just kind of slowly walk myself through it and not rush to urgency in my head of just wanting to finish everything as quickly as possible. You know, really just kind of being patient with myself and realizing that if my patience and mental health are not prioritized, then I am going to rush to that sense of urgency and ultimately act out in some form of aggression to myself. So totally relevant to my journey today. And I wish you all to give yourself patience in your journey today and not attach urgency to things that are not urgent and will ultimately you know, end up in you know, acting aggressive in some sort of way towards yourself. So thank you all for listening. I wish you patience. I wish you peaceful relationships with ice cream. And I wish you a beautiful, almost summer day. And I will talk to you tomorrow for day 22.